But that's not the only thing that you're being hit with now. If you want to get into your car and drive your car all over the country, our politicians are putting up toll booths. Most of the time, these toll booths are going up on roads that have already been paid for. So now you're paying an outrageous sum of money for gasoline, and you're putting up toll booths and being asked to pay for tolls on roads that have already been paid for. There's a new bill in Congress now that wants to allow even more highways to be made into toll roads. It's almost as if somebody is trying to force us to stop driving our car. Iran has already stopped selling oil to companies in the UK and France. There's another potential war that could happen at any time if war doesn't erupt, or if commercial traffic through the Straits of Hormuz was interrupted even for a brief time. What would happen to the price of oil? So what is the good news? Well, the good news is that sources are saying an economic collapse will help the price of oil and gasoline, because that's what happened in 2008. Remember, gas was up to $141 a barrel and then crashed down because we didn't have any money. There's your good news. The president, however, says that no, it's because the world is booming now. The good news is that the price of gasoline is a good sign. Now, wait a minute. We went through and we tried to look up the... Really? Is that what they said before? Did you get this from Newsbusters, the audio?
No, this is somewhere else.
Okay. This amazing. I want you to listen first to what the press said the last election about gas prices.
These are first some Democrats last time. When Bush was in office, here's what they were saying.
What we are seeing is, a government run for the oil companies.
Drivers are paying a heavy price
Nancy Pelosi.
for the Bush administration's failure to enact a comprehensive energy strategy. This Congress, under the Democratic leadership, is working to make up for years of inaction, taking America in a new direction that helps bring down the cost of gas.
Gas prices have more than doubled since George Bush became our president.
8 years.
I understand how desperate folks are. I mean, I met a guy who couldn't go on a job search, had lost his job, couldn't go on a job search because of the high price of gas. Just couldn't fill up his tank. I met a teacher in South Dakota who loved her job as a teacher on an Indian reservation. She had to quit because the drive was too far. It was taking up too much of her paycheck. I know how bad people are hurting.
Right. Yeah, it's bad.
But, except now people are coming up to him saying how grateful they are that the gas price is so high.
Really?
Yeah, it's so helpful now.
Mm-hmm.
It really feels good for people to pay $3.53 a gallon nationwide this time of year.
Yeah, no.
They love it. They love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's saving lives, as a matter of fact.
Well, that's not according to Pat. I want you to know he has good sources on this.
Yeah, I do.
There is saving lives. You couldn't say it on the news if it weren't true.
You wouldn't think high gas and oil prices would be a blessing in disguise, but they are. As Victor Lopez found out, they're causing a big jump in the number of jobs.
We turn now to 5 things you should know about gas, specifically why gas prices, even at over $4 a gallon, can sometimes be a good thing.
And we know that rising gas prices are forcing us to search for alternative fuels and more fuel-efficient cars. There are some other reasons to be optimistic about the high cost of gas. Here are just a few of them.
2,220 people have already been saved over the past year because a reduction in driving has led to less particle pollution in the air. If gas prices stay at $4 a gallon for a year or more, then we can expect that about 1,000 people a month will not die.
Will not die.
12,000 people a year
will
be
not
saved.
die if it's just $4 a gallon. Aren't you willing to save 12,000 lives for $4 a gallon gasoline?
Sure.
Whoa.
It's the new way they cure cancer now.
I didn't
They
know
go and
that.
they used to do chemo and stuff. Now they just raise gas prices.
Incredible.
And it cures cancer.
Here's the great thing. We have the best press in the world. You cannot fool this pack of press. You can't. You can't. You have the president last week saying that oil prices are going up, and it's a good thing because jobs are being created and the global economy is booming now. This is what he said last week. Has anybody looked at the global economy?
Allowing this tax cut to expire would make people's lives harder right now. It would make choices more difficult.
Yeah.
It would be $40 less for groceries to feed your kids. It would be $40 less for the medications you depend on. $40 less to cover bills and the rent. $40 less to take care of an elder parent or to donate to a church or a charity.
Wow.
And when gas prices are on the rise again.
Mm-hmm.
Because as the economy strengthens, global demand for oil increases. And if we start seeing significant increases in gas prices, losing that $40 could not come at a worse time.
So wait a minute. So it's only going up because the economy is
strengthening. It's getting better.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's really weird because this is what I would like.
Remember when they said that about Bush?
No.
No. They said, gosh, it must be a really strong economy now because gas prices are
Let me ask you, if the economy is booming and things are getting better, violent crime in Washington, D.C. has risen by 40%. Robberies at gunpoint have more than doubled compared to the same period last year.
It's because the economy's so good, people can afford knives and guns again and are able to go out and commit these violent crimes.
Justifiable homicide. Listen to this one. Justifiable homicide rose by 79% in 2011 in Detroit. The rate of self-defense killings in Detroit is now 2,200% above the national average. Daily Mail article had a story about a North Dakota woman who was killed by crack-fueled crazy people. If things are really getting better, how come crime is getting worse? Why are our cities falling apart? Why is that?
Bush. They just didn't know how bad it was going to be. And
if it's getting better, why are more than 30% of all Americans in 1834 still living at home with their parents?
Again, Bush.
Really?
Mm-hmm. George W. Bush.
If the economy is getting so much better, why are people going out and taking the copper out of street lights?
Jeb Bush.
Neil Bush.
Neil Bush.
I don't think
Neil
this is.
Bush.
Tito, Marlon, Jermaine Bush.
Mm-hmm. All three of the Bush brothers.
The singing Bush brothers. It could be them.
The media is complicit. The media is, we say on the program, one of our bumpers on the program says, change the media, change the world. That's true. Change the media, change the world. Listen to what the media has said. That it's saving lives if we could just get the gas up to $4 a gallon.
That's outrageous.
It's totally outrageous. Where is the media on austerity? Do you know that the austerity programs over in Greece, they don't make any sense whatsoever. They don't make any sense whatsoever. They're cutting minimum wage by 20%. That's one of the things the IMF and European Central Bank are insisting on. Cut minimum wage by 20%. Remember, gas is up 100% for them in the last 2 years. Inflation on everything is up 25%. Wages are already down 25%. 50% of all small businesses are going to be out of business by the end of the year. It's an amazing, it's in full-fledged economic depression. 45% of those under 25 are unemployed. 45%. 20% unemployment rate already. So they're cutting minimum wage. They're laying off employees, but they're not lowering taxes. So there's no job growth at all because the companies are all being penalized. The private companies are being penalized. The private companies are being squeezed. They have to step and pony up. And if you have bonds as a private company, 50% haircut. So in other words, 50%, we're not going to honor those bonds. Excuse me, I'm a private company. What are you doing? That's exactly what they did to GM.